Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back, episode 9 to The Common Thread. I've got a special guest with us here today, Kelen Beardsley. Super excited to have you on, man. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
Excited to chat with you today about some stuff. I know Devin from growing up in Springfield. Devin's a little younger than me, but we both went through the Springfield soccer program and just been buds since then. I local business owner in town. I own Trout River Brewing Company. So yeah, just excited.
I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember? I think you replaced Corey one game. He couldn't make it when I was in JV my sophomore year, and you came in to fill the spot. That was the first intro. Do you remember that? I don't actually remember if we won or not. I couldn't tell you the score. It's all vague, but that was the first intro, and then it's been, alumni stuff and Trout River, man. You guys are doing great things. I definitely want to touch on some of the Trout River stuff. So can you tell us about, how you got into it with a group of friends and kind of what got you guys interested in that?
Yeah. So I guess about 7 or 8 years ago now, I got a home brewing kit for Christmas one year, and started, just brewing terrible batches of beer in my garage. And around that time, I had moved back to Springfield. I had been kind of traveling to various places and kind of settled back in Springfield, and worked at a social services agency for a while. And that's actually where I met Gabe, my business partner.
Yep.
Who found out that he was like a really adamant home brewer and was way better at it than I was. So, I just started picking his brain, and eventually, we became good friends and started homebrewing together on the weekends and stuff. And then I got Trevor, who was my best friend growing up, kind of got him into it as well. And it just kind of evolved and spiraled. And, a few years later, we ended up buying Trout River.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I think it's great what you guys do. I've talked about you guys a couple times, just as far as like a community effort goes and what you guys are doing. It's just awesome. From a business point, like you're bringing business into the town of Springfield, which it desperately could use something like this. And you guys have done a great job with it. And it's just exciting to see that like piece of life that the town really kind of gathers around. And I love to see the support that you guys get. Tell us like what's next for Trout River. I mean, you guys have kind of, you've started, the brewery location in downtown. You've opened that up. What's next for you guys as far as what we can expect from Trout River down the line?
Yeah. So actually it's pretty interesting times for us right now. We actually have just recently sold the business.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, as of last week.
Wow.
So myself and Gabe are still running the show. We just have new ownership in place.
Okay.
Just gives us a lot more flexibility and opportunity to grow, which we're excited about. And, we were really adamant that the brewery remains in Springfield because it's super important to us to, be a part of the revitalization in town.
Definitely. So you guys will still be running the show for the most part on Trout and all that stuff. It's just basically a new owner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trevor's moving on, but myself and Gabe are still there. So we are in the process of actually creating a couple new products. We're going to be releasing a new brand.
Oh, cool.
Which is under Vermont Beer Shapers, which is what we're incorporated under. It kind of pays homage to the building that we're in, the Gear Shaper factory.
Yeah.
So we're releasing some new brands under that that we're really excited about, kind of off-centered beers. We're going to be doing some really traditional style stuff, but also like pushing the envelope and doing some of the crazier beer styles that a lot of the craft beer geeks are getting into nowadays.
Yeah. When can we expect to see some of this new stuff? Just out of curiosity.
It's kind of dependent on, where the world is right now.
Yeah, with all this going on.
Yeah, not an ideal time to launch a new brand, but you know, hopefully by the summertime we'll be launching that stuff.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. That sounds like a great opportunity for you guys. So I'm excited to see what's next.
Yeah, for sure.
Curious to know from you know, you've been with Trout River, you started it. What's been your absolute favorite beer that you've made thus far?
Oh man. Probably my favorite is Pebble in Paradise.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
it's definitely one of our more popular ones now. It's also something that I helped formulate the recipe for.
Cool.
You know, usually I let Gabe run the show with that stuff, but Gabe's not a huge IPA fan, so I try to give some input when we're doing those styles of beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just really happy with the way that one turned out. It's definitely
Great, man. That is a good one. That's a good one. I'm an angler management guy myself, to be honest with you, but I'm basic. So tell me, like, what's been the most exciting part, you know, as doing this whole thing with Trout River, taking it over and kind of seeing it grow from where it started?
Um, I guess the most exciting part is kind of, you know, the immediate future that we have. You know, with this new ownership, I think we have a lot of potential and opportunity to grow and expand and, you know, help put Springfield on the map, which is exciting. You know, our whole goal starting this company in Springfield was basically to, you know, help revitalize the town. And, you know, all three of us grew up in Springfield, and it's super important to us to, you know, be a part of drawing some business and excitement to Springfield. And I think Springfield's heading in the right direction. Obviously, this COVID stuff's putting a damper on everything.
Right.
Not just in Springfield, but globally. But
Right.
you know, this town's got a lot of momentum right now, so it's super
People need to
exciting to
buy
see.
alcohol though. The liquor stores are still open, so I mean
Oh, for sure.
that's a good sign.
Yeah,
So tell us, like, speaking of that, where can you find Trout River? Where can we buy Trout River? How can we get it out there? And tell us from there. Where can we find
sure.
this stuff?
So right now we have distribution in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine.
Okay.
Vermont, we're actually transitioning to self-distribution soon,
Cool.
which we're excited about. Gives us an opportunity to be more hands-on and interact more with the stores and the bars and restaurants that we're selling to. And then hopefully in the next year, we'll be expanding distribution into New York and Massachusetts as well. And I don't know if we'll grow much beyond that point. You know, obviously we want to get popular enough that we're, you know, super sustainable and healthy. But you know, there's almost this point in craft beer now where, like, if you get too big, you're not as attractive. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to balance that line of, you know, still being cool, but, you know, making money. So
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to speak about Trout. Like, it's awesome. I love it. I think it's been a great piece to the town. And I just love that it's like, you know, the guys who are doing it. And it just keeps it nice. I don't know. It's cool to say, like, you know, I've actually had friends from college just recently come up and they did a little beer tour of Vermont and they stopped at Trout. And I was like, oh, that's so crazy. Like,
that's awesome,
to
man.
just see it. Yeah, no, it's great, man. It's great. I know you're wearing a Green Bay Packers hat, which takes me to our next segment, which I'm really
Yes,
excited
sir.
to talk about. Is I know it's a way too early NFL, you know, playoff predictions is what we'll call it, and just take a little snippet. We'll break down from each division which team's going to make it, and then we'll break down our wild card options, and just take it from there. So we'll start on the AFC side because, you know, as prior discussion with you, Kellen, I mean, it's like it seems like this is the easiest side to me. But again, things could change. I don't know. So we'll start off with AFC. Why don't you take us through your, you know, division picks first, and then we'll break down wild cards after. Sound
Cool.
good? All right.
Yeah.
Take us away, man.
So AFC West, I guess I'll start there.
Okay.
I mean, Chiefs, I don't see them dropping off any from last year.
No.
If anything, they might get better. Kind of am interested in the Raiders a little bit this year, but I think the Chiefs pretty much run away with that.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer right now by the looks.
Yeah. You want me to just keep going
Keep
with
going,
the
man. Yeah, keep going. Go through the whole list. Take it away, man.
AFC East? Buffalo, man.
Buffalo, yes. Okay, Bills Mafia.
Yeah.
Mafia.
I think the
So we're
Bills.
breaking tables this year in the playoffs. I
Oh yeah.
see. Why is that? Why are you thinking that the AFC East has always been a competitive division? It's definitely changing a lot this year.
Big time.
Why Bills Mafia?
Love the Bills. I think Stephon Diggs was a huge addition to them to get some weapons for Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's legit. I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be potentially a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Oh, definitely. I think he's easily the best quarterback in that division now that Tom's gone. And
yeah.
It's going to be amazing to see what they do. I'm actually pretty excited for him because I feel like they're a franchise that is just like always kind of almost gotten there, or they've had opportunities here and there. But I think that this, like, now they've really solidified themselves. So I like that pick a lot.
I think it's good for the league to have a team like the Bills be relevant. Nobody hates the Bills.
It's hard to, even if as a Patriots fan being in the same division as them, I always kind of root for them because I don't know, they're always good games when we play them, but now they've actually solidified themselves as a serious contender to go a distance. It's kind of nice to see.
Yeah. And Dawson Knox is my sleeper tight end this year.
Ooh, okay.
Dawson Knox is my boy. All right, so AFC North, got to go with the Ravens.
Yeah.
Until Lamar Jackson gets injured or somebody figures out how to stop him. I think they run away with it, AFC North, but I do like the Browns. I think the Browns are sneaky going to get in there.
I think I could see it with the new wild card system. They're the bottom. They're the last 3 for me, but I'll touch upon that later on. Take us away with the South.
AFC South. This is the only one that was kind of tricky for me as far as the top team. I ended up going with Houston.
Ooh.
The wideout depth is good. Defense is solid. Still don't know about Watson, but I feel like he's going to step up this year. Tennessee, Tannehill, I can't trust him. Okay. Derrick Henry, you can't run that guy, 30 to 40 times a game every week and expect him to, stay healthy. So
those are the picks for the divisions, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're pretty spot on. I'll start with the AFC East. I have Buffalo Bills Mafia. As you said, they're bringing back a pretty good core piece of the team. Like, they're bringing back almost everybody. And then they add, AJ Klein from New Orleans, middle linebacker. Yep. He's going to be a stud on defense for him. Stephon Diggs is going to be another good asset for him. That's just like, Cole Beasley was a sleeper pick last year for him, I think, honestly. Coming from Dallas to Buffalo, he was like night and day to me. He was pretty good with Dallas, but I don't think he was like as a star as he is with Josh Allen throwing to him. It's amazing. And then you add Stephon Diggs to the mix, and like Stephon Diggs has never had like I don't think as good of a quarterback throwing to him as a Josh Allen. Like, I think they are going to do incredible things together. And then again, AJ Klein in that defense, adding to what they already have, is just crazy good. They've got Tremaine Edmonds, who's pretty good. And that rookie running back last year, Devin Singletary, he could be something pretty good. He didn't have a terrible season last year. I had him on my fantasy team. He wasn't awful. So I think ultimately with those pieces added to this already mix that they've got, and an AFC East that has drastically changed a lot.
For sure.
I think that they're finally I think they've enhanced, and they'll probably be one of the top teams in the AFC in general.
Absolutely.
AFC North. I mean, it's got to be the Ravens. I look at the North and I'm like, it's got to be probably one of the most competitive divisions. It's always the most competitive division in the last few years. But the Ravens, I think, with Lamar Jackson, you talk about Mark Ingram, Earl Thomas. I mean, and then they add Derek Wolfe, defensive end from the Broncos. I just think that they're going to be even better. And once Lamar figures himself out, he'll go places. He just got to figure out how to win in the playoffs. They'll make it to
Yeah.
the playoffs. It's just whether or not he wins.
Yes.
Different from you, AFC South, I'm going the Tennessee Titans. Now, I'm shocked at what they did in this year's playoffs. Like, they shut down some of the top teams. Derrick Henry's an absolute tank. I mean, his speed, his size, not many teams are going to go up and be like, I want to hit this guy. It's going to hurt every time you try to go up against him. I think, A.J. Brown, their wideout, rookie wideout last year, going for over 1,000 yards, is only going to get better.
Yeah, he's legit.
He's legit. And then I know Tannehill I have questions about, but he surprised me last year. He looked the best he's ever looked, I think, honestly, in his career. So I don't know if it's like a coaching change. And then I noted like one of their key pieces that they added on defense is Vic Beasley from Atlanta. Pretty legit linebacker option that they're going to add to this defense that was kind of surprising last year. And I just think with Vic Beasley working with Vrabel, I think it's an interesting combo. I think it's Vrabel's just he proved himself to me, like, that he can hang with the big boys, and he beat a lot of the best coaches in football in a good stretch when he needed to. And they were struggling there for a while. So I don't know if this is like momentum carrying into this season, but I kind of am rooting for him. And I think with the Texans losing DeAndre Hopkins and the Colts are kind of, I don't know where they stand now with Phillip Rivers. Like, I'm not a big Phillip Rivers guy. I just think all in all, that just adds up to a Tennessee Titans. Like, it should be a good season for them. I don't think it's going to be great. I think it's probably like a 10-6, 9-7 type of thing. But AFC West, as much as other teams have been trying to get better out there, I think it's just Patrick Mahomes he's stud. And then you got Tyrone Matthews, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, like the whole gang. They haven't really added anybody. It's just the same team. But that works. I don't know. Yeah. Chiefs are good, man. They're legit. Let's do wild cards. I'm going to start from the bottom of the barrel. So, like, the team that's last getting in, for me, is going to be the Cleveland Browns. And it's going to be by a thread. I'm not huge on the Cleveland Browns as long as Baker Mayfield's there, and I know that's bold, but I'm not sold on Baker Mayfield. I've never been a big Baker Mayfield guy. I don't think he's the guy that takes him all the way. I don't even know if he'll be in that starting spot now that they've signed Case Keenum as well, I believe. So, like, I don't know if he sticks. I think with a new coach involved, it'll be interesting to see how they work. Again, I think they didn't sign the right coach for the job, because this guy doesn't really have proven experience, in my opinion, to lead this group of. It seems like a batch of what should be really good, but it doesn't sync the way it should. When you've got Jarvis Landry, OBJ, and then they added Austin Hooper at tight end, which should be like a dead set, like they're gonna soar. But I just feel like there's something missing again with the new coach piece, and it's just Baker Mayfield. And I think that there's some sort of like gray cloud over Cleveland. I still think they should, with all those tools, they have to. Otherwise, I mean, I don't know what else to say to Cleveland. If they don't make it into the wild card of the playoffs, like, throw in the towel. I guess you just got to quit with football.
Yeah, it's make or break year for them for sure.
Oh yeah. So tell me, who's the last team in for you, the number 3 team?
So this is a coin toss for me, and it's more based on the draft. If the Jets can get a legitimate wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy, they're my 7 team.
Ooh.
If for whatever reason they pull some like typical Jet stuff and end up with like an offensive guard or something, I got to go Patriots.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, until Bill Belichick gets proven otherwise, he's still the greatest coach of all time. So
I would love that. I love Bill. I just look at our roster. I looked at the roster today.
Yeah, it's not exciting.
Not hopeful. I mean, it's all about the quarterback position. Stidham, I don't know. There's so much uncertainty attached to it. It's not Bill. It's the guy. It's our quarterback, and behind him, it's Hoyer. Watched him last year. It's like sometimes you'll get something good, and then most of the time you don't. So I don't
Yep.
know. I think it's really truly for us, like as a Patriots fan, I think it's just a rebuilding year. I think that's where if we went 6-10, I would be stoked. I'm not expecting anything else, to be honest with you. If we win more than that, so be it. But it's a tough AFC this year as far as East goes. We play the Bills twice, Miami
Yep.
twice. But so team number 2 for me is the Las Vegas Raiders.
Ooh.
Oof,
Okay.
I know. But I think so let's talk. I mean, they got Mariota. Now that's an interesting mix. So if Carr's not doing the trick, Mariota, I mean, he wasn't a bad quarterback. I don't think he's the worst in the NFL. I think it's an interesting mix. They got a good rookie last year out of Josh Jacobs. He's a good, solid running back. He can be a mix. I like Tyrell Williams on the wideout position. I think he's a good asset. But then they added pieces like Carl Nassib, Jason Witten, and then Nelson Aguilar, who is I think he's a sleeper pick. I think the kid is a speedy wideout option, and then you add Jason Witten to the mix, who is a vet. I really like him as well. And then Corey Littleton, who they signed from the Rams, is a good linebacker option. So all in all, I think, with those key pieces that they add and they kind of make it a little interesting, but I think they're in the mix. I got to consider them now. I mean, those are good additions to a team that could, they move into a new area. This is a time for them to prove themselves. Maybe it could be Las Vegas. I'm thinking like Golden Knights status if they can make the playoffs. Let's go from there and see what happens.
That Vegas
Who's
magic.
number 2 for you, man?
So my 2 is Cleveland.
Yep.
There's too much talent on that team for them to suck this long. I mean, it's make or break year for Baker. They don't get in the playoffs this year. They're going to clean house again. And it's going to be typical Browns. But if there's a year for them, it's this year, man.
I just don't know if their personalities clash the way they should. You got too many egos on one team, and that's a problem. And you bring in a new coach with all those big egos. I think you needed to go for like a Mike McCarthy or like somebody who is maybe a Josh McDaniels, like maybe somebody who can handle them. Even him I'd be a little about, but somebody with like the iron fist needs to go in there and be like set everybody down.
Yeah, for sure.
So number 1 wild card spot for me, it's going to be one that it's a hard pill to swallow, but the Miami Dolphins.
Ooh.
But,
wow.
Yeah, but they've added so much. I mean, they've added some big names to that team that I think like people need to whoa, their defense could probably be one of the best in the AFC. They could be. They really could. If they figure it out, they'll be insane. Byron Jones, Kyle Van Noy, Landon Roberts, Shaq Lawson, Emmanuel Ugba from KC, like their defense could be loaded. And then on offense, I mean, they added Jordan Howard from Philadelphia, the running back, but they also have I do like Devontae Parker. And then also I'm not a big Fitzpatrick guy, but he could figure it out. I mean, I'm sure he'll figure it out. If they get some tight ends in the draft or, another wideout, they're looking pretty sharp too. I don't know. It's hard to say with this whole rebuild that they've done, especially on the defensive side of the ball. There's some new leadership pieces there that really could straighten things out for them. And I mean, Byron Jones is not a bad cornerback. He's not. And then you add those guys on the line, Shaq Lawson, Ugba. I don't know. It's crazy to think, and I don't like the idea of a team that was 5-11 last year, and at one point they were like 0-10 or something like that, 0-9, and everybody was joking they couldn't win a game. I think that this year that changes big time. A lot of different characters in that locker room and a lot of different players that could really – it's going to be a fierce team. And in AFC East, it's a dogfight next year for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead.
Well, Miami's my second favorite team, so I'm a big fan of that pick. But first playoff or wild card team for me is Tennessee.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Houston's my number one. I think that's, it's a toss up between Tennessee or Houston to win the division, but
Okay.
I got Tennessee as my number one wild card team.
Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. So who do you think's going in the AFC Championship out of that list that you got? Who's going to AFC Championship?
Oh man. Championship game, I'm going Chiefs Bills.
I like that. That's actually where I was thinking too. And I'm not going to hold my breath, but I honestly think the Bills could go to the Super Bowl this year. I could see it. I could see it. But I don't know. That's really a bold move. But I think just like when you look at them and then what they've got, what they've added, it's hard to think that they couldn't. Plus, I think Josh Allen's that good. I think he's capable. He surprised the hell out of me. He can run, first of all. And then he can also huck the ball. I mean, he tosses it. So that's where I'm at. I think Bills are making it to the Super Bowl. That would be huge. Who do you got? Chiefs? You got Chiefs, don't you?
Yeah.
They're going back?
I can't oh man. I like the Bills, but Chiefs are gonna be tough to beat if they're healthy.
I hope some of the new additions slow them down though in the AFC. But so flipping to the NFC side, let's break it down division again. Hit me with your breakdowns on who you had for the divisions, and then we'll do wild cards again.
All right. NFC East. This division's just a shit show every year. I got the Cowboys. I hated that pick, but I'm going with the Cowboys. I mean, Mike McCarthy is a legit coach. Used to run the Packers. And the Packers weren't bad when he was the head coach. They just got tired of not getting to the next level every year. I don't like Dak Prescott. I think he's overrated, but he's got the weapons around him to.
They got Randall Cobb this year too.
Yeah, Cobb's solid.
Did he get traded? Actually, I just said that, and I feel like
Cobb's he did get traded. I can't remember where he went.
It's gonna peeve me.
It's not
I'll think about it. Let me think back on it. I think I remember it once I think of it. Keep
going. Philadelphia's lingering there. I actually think the New York Giants are going to be like one of the most improved teams this year. I don't think they're a playoff team, but I think they're going to make a push this year. All right, NFC West. San Francisco. I mean,
again.
Yeah.
Even without Emmanuel Sanders?
Yeah. That defense is too good.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm still on the fence about Garoppolo, but defense wins championships, so except for they lost.
Bosa's in tank, so yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. NFC South. Got the Saints running away with that division. I think the Bucs will be decent. I personally am not a Tom Brady fan. I get it; he's like the greatest of all time. But I mean, he's a good, accurate, smart quarterback. And the Bucs have the weapons; they just haven't had an accurate quarterback. So, I think they're going to be a decent team this year. NFC North, no surprise here. Packers run away with that division. I think that division is the weakest by far in the NFL besides Green Bay. I don't, none of the other teams improved, I think. Packers, Christian Kirksey is a sleeper pickup. If that dude stays healthy, he's going to be an absolute monster.
Yeah. He was on my radar for them too. Actually, it's funny you said that.
Yeah, if they pick up another receiver in the draft, I think Packers are a no-brainer.
Okay, so those are your picks.
Yep.
Okay. So out of the NFC East, I looked at that division for a long time. I literally when we talked about this, I was like, damn it, damn it, damn it. Like
It's a mess.
Washington picks up Ron Rivera. I really like him, right? You get Dallas. Dallas is Dallas. Giants, I like all the players they have, big Saquon Barkley guy, but then I look further than that and I'm like, new coach again. I don't know if that's taking them to the promised land. And then Philadelphia, like they surprised the hell out of everybody last year, but like what else do they have? I don't know. I don't know if it's the players in the draft. I just feel like there's something missing. Ultimately, I picked the Cowboys because when I look at that overall, Mike McCarthy, I mean, as you said, like he knows how to win. He'll get you to the playoffs. Dak's I kind of like Dak. I think he's hit or miss though. I don't think he's consistent enough. I mean, I think he can get you to the playoffs. I don't know if he goes past that. Zeke, I'm a big Zeke guy. Let him eat. Let him eat. The guy's impressive. I think I think he's unreal. Amari Cooper, stupid. I mean, the guy's insane. They add Gerald McCoy. I think that's a good pickup from Carolina. And then also Clinton Dix. So they replaced that kind of hole that they were missing there too. So with that being said, I think they kind of are an easy, for me, slide in for the East. Now the North, I agree. Packers, it's hard to go against Aaron Rodgers, who's done it time and time again. Aaron Jones was incredible last year. I think he gets better this year. And then also Devontae Adams is unstoppable. And then, as you said, Kirksey adding that piece to the defense is just going to be kind of insane. So, and then, as you said, I kind of agree, but I do think that there are some drastic changes. I think the Vikings go from being a playoff contender to not being a contender at all. I really truly believe that. I think that they've fallen drastically off this offseason. I don't see them
100%.
being a remote contender at all. I think they'll be the last place team in that division. From the South, Saints. Saints. You got Kamara. You got Breeze, who's somehow doing it better than anybody else. I think that then he gets Emmanuel Sanders on top of already having Michael Thomas. That's kind of insane. You realize how insane his options are? Like, and then he still has Jared Cook, who's not a bad tight end to have either.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's going to have options, and I think watching him play, I think he's better than Brady. I do, and I think he has better weapons than Brady now too. And I can't wait to watch them twice in the NFL season. I'm so stoked about that. So that's my pick. And then the West, I'm going Seahawks. Because they've added a lot of good assets, and it was like them or another team I was floating between. But when I look at them on paper, on their wideout core now, they got Greg Olsen. I've always been a big Greg Olsen guy. Love him. Fearless. He's got Russ Wilson thrown to him now. They add Dorsett. I love Dorsett with the Pats. He was actually sort of a sleeper pick in my option. And then you already have DK Metcalf and Lockett that you're throwing to. He's going to have 4 pretty solid weapons, and then Carson isn't a bad running back either. So, and then they get Bruce Irvin actually too. Forgot about him from Carolina. Like, solid. I think they just get better. I think they've gotten better since free agency, and it'll be interesting who they pick up too in the draft. But I think that they've bettered themselves from last year, and they haven't really lost anything that puts them just a little bit over San Francisco in my mind. And they didn't even look that bad during the playoffs, but now that they have more tools, and if they can stay healthy, they're fierce.
Yep.
Wild card spots. This is good. Number 3 for you. Who's the last team in?
This is probably gonna shock a lot of people. I'm going Arizona Cardinals.
Whoa. Well, that's not actually a bad option though either. So they did add DeAndre Hopkins, which is solid pickup.
I like their coaching staff. Defensively, they're solid. I think Kyler Murray's a solid quarterback. Adding Hopkins is gonna be huge for him. Again, they're another one of those teams that needs to have a really good draft. But they've got good core pieces. I think they make a push for the playoffs this year.
Wow. They were that was close. But with NFC, it is going to be lock type this year. I think it could be a bloodbath. I could see a plethora of like 7-9 or 8-8 teams. It's just going to be so up and down.
For sure.
My first team, Chicago Bears.
Oh no.
But like, hear me out.
No.
Nick Foles is taking that starting quarterback job. He's taking it. They have Jimmy Graham, who sucked at Green Bay. Maybe he's going to try to prove himself at a rival team. I could see it. I mean, he's had a few bumpy roads since he's left New Orleans, but I feel differently now because he's probably going to get more targets than he's ever gotten because besides Allen Robinson, they don't really have any guys who can catch the ball. And they already have Khalil Mack. Montgomery was a pretty good running back for them last year as a rookie. You put Nick Foles in that, and then also they signed linebacker Robert Quinn, who's not bad either on the defensive end of the ball. So you got Quinn and Khalil Mack on the same freaking team on defense, and then you slide in, Nick Foles at the starting quarterback job, throwing it to Jimmy, and maybe Allen Robinson. You got a rookie, a nice guy. I don't know. I think that they kind of slip under the radar because I don't know why I like Nick Foles. To me, like he didn't get a chance last year to play, so he's going to be hungry. He's probably going to take over that job from Trubinsky. I just don't see him lasting that long. And then Nick Foles, and I just think that this is going to be a proving ground for him. This is going to be it. And he's going to be in a conference or division that the Lions I don't really have a lot of faith in. And I look at the Vikings, and they've gotten worse. Why not? Why not? Throw them in. I don't see why not. So they're my last team in. Shocking, I know, but I just have – I don't know why in my head – I looked at it and why not? Nick Foles can do it. I have faith. He's a veteran quarterback. He's done it before. Why not with the Bears? So they need some good luck. Number 2.
My number 2 team is Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Going the Bucks.
Okay.
I hate that. I hate that I'm picking Tom Brady, but I mean that team's got a lot of weapons. And Brady's just, like I said, smart, crafty veteran. So I think they're going to get in the playoffs for sure.
Wow. Okay. So actually it's funny you say that. Number 2 for me is also Tampa.
Nice.
It's I'm on the fence about it. I could teeter either way between them and the Falcons, to be honest with you. I do like the Falcons.
Yep.
I just wonder – I just have some concern. Tom Brady's never been a warm weather quarterback. Never been a good warm weather quarterback. Look at his record in Miami. So I'm curious, when the majority of the season is in a warm weather climate, how are you going to perform, dude? I love Tom. I think I've always been a Tom fan. He's aging now. He's in a warm weather stadium for a majority of the season with a whole new batch of cookies. But again, these guys are Mike Evans and Chris Goodwin, who, I mean, and then OJ Howard. I mean, if he sucks, I mean, that's going to be unreal. That shouldn't be the case. He should do lights out. It'll be interesting, though, to see with his performance and his record in warm weather. And then they also on the defensive side, JPP, and I hate Ndamukong Suh. So I don't want him to be there, but I would be surprised if they didn't with Tom. At the same token with those weapons. I don't think he's had better weapons in a while. So that's number 2. Last one, wild card. Who's taking it?
All right. So my last first wild card team is Seattle.
Okay.
I hate Seattle. I don't know why. I don't like Russell Wilson. I don't like Chris Carson, but they always go 11-5 or 12-4. So
that you picked 2 from the three NFC West teams, didn't you?
3 NFC West teams.
They're gonna be good next year, huh?
Old picks, but
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. For me, San Fran. I just think they got to go back. I think it's a no-brainer. Essentially taking that same team with them. And that's going to be a tough division this year too. With all those additions, I think it's not going to be a shoo-in by any means, but it'll be exciting between, you got the Rams and the Cardinals, and it's going to be a dogfight for sure. So, but I think San Fran will slide in there, number 1 wild card spot. Who do you have? NFC championship game. Who do you think it's going to be?
Championship game, Packers, Saints.
I'm gonna go Saints and the Seahawks. I know, but I have to have the Saints going to the Super Bowl. It's
No,
for
it's a
me,
good
it's a
pick.
no-brainer. I think Saints go to the Super Bowl this year. I think they have been dealt enough bad hands. I think, being in the playoffs so many times and almost making it and having so many close games. I think this is finally their year, though. So I think Saints move on. Who do you have going to the Super Bowl?
I have the Saints as well. I mean,
Saints.
I'm a Packers fan. I think that game would be one of the best playoff games of all time. But the Saints just have too many weapons this year.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So you have the Saints and Chiefs in a Super Bowl prediction. Who are you taking to win this year's Super Bowl? Way too early predictions.
I'm picking the Saints, man.
I like it. I'm also going to go with the Saints. I think Breeze is dwindled down. I mean, he's got a 2-year contract left, right? I mean, so it's like, how many more chances do you get at something like this with the team that he has? If they stay healthy, it's going to be the key part.
Yeah.
That team is stacked. I mean, they, to me, on paper, are the most attractive team. And I just don't see, I mean, even in a very stacked NFC, conference, I just don't see a lot of teams step into their level. I also think that side of the board, the NFC South, is also super, super, super close. And it's going to be another division. Like, besides the NFC West, the NFC South is going to be insane. Panthers have made a lot of different changes. I think Atlanta's good with Matt Ryan. And I don't know. They surprised the hell out of me last year, just coming up and winning games they shouldn't have won. And then the Bucs changed their faces entirely. And then the Saints. I mean, it's just, there's a ton of powerhouse teams in there. So it'll be interesting to see how it breaks out. But yeah. So Kelen, I appreciate you being on here, man, and taking the time to be with me, and talking on the common thread. And love what you guys are doing at Trout. I'm super excited to see what happens in the future with you guys. And let me know as soon as you guys put out that brand stuff. Keep me posted. I'd love to post it on our page. And thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, man. Let me just quick. We got a product coming out in a couple weeks. It's called the All Collaboration.
Oh, cool.
It's a beer that Other Half Brewing in New York City created. There's a bunch of different breweries around the world that are creating the same beer. And the purpose of this beer is to create money so you can donate some of the proceeds to local hospitality. So the proceeds we're getting from this beer are going back to the Vermont Brewers Association, as well as the Springfield Chamber of Commerce. So definitely be on the lookout for that beer. Doing our best to support local business in these crazy times. So
awesome, man. Awesome. I'm happy to do that. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you guys again, and looking forward to that. Thanks again, Kelen, for your time, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, man. Take care.